In this session, we're going to try to answer the question, what is WordPress? It's a commonly asked question, and it can be surprisingly difficult to answer, because WordPress has become a lot of things to a lot of people. We're looking here at the WordPress.org website, and if you mouse over the tab or look in the title bar, it says WordPress, blog tool, publishing platform, and CMS. CMS means Content Management System. WordPress started out as a blog tool. A blog has dated content like a journal, and usually has some way to organize it. This is the blog of a friend of mine. He is a flashlight reviewer. So right here at the top, we have a post dated December 7th, and there's a title, Lupine Betty TL2. There's a photo, and then there's a link to read the rest of this entry, because this is his homepage, and it's actually an archive of all of his posts. So if we click through one, here we're on a single blog post. And you can see he has pictures and text. On the right, this is called the sidebar. And you can put just about anything in the sidebar. Here at the top we have search, then there's a list of categories, pending reviews. These are blog posts he has started but hasn't finished, so people can see what's coming. Then there are tags. These are sort of like categories. They're keywords he can attach to posts. What you see here is called a tag cloud. The larger words are ones that are used more often. Links to his Facebook and Twitter accounts, a place to donate, a place to sign up to get notified, and some ads. Down at the bottom here we have what's called a fat footer. That means there's actually quite a lot of content down there. Truthfully, this is also called a sidebar for all that it's in the bottom. It uses the same kind of widgets that the sidebar above does. In addition to his blog content, he has a few pages. There's an About page, there's an advertising page, a contact page, and a terms page. These are similar to posts, but they're not dated content. They're just pages. They're intended to stay here forever and just be informational. And that's pretty much it for a basic blog. Any blog, whether it uses WordPress or not. This one happens to use WordPress, and it does a very good job with it. But people have begun to do other things with WordPress besides just blog. They use it for showcases, or a store, or a university website. And we'll take a look at some of those next. This is a site for a place that makes very nice pools. Here at the top we have what's called a slider. It fades from one thing to the next, and here we have something that looks like a blog post. There's a title and some content and a read more. Actually, this is what's called a custom content type. It acts similar to a blog post, but it's not really. It has some extra features. You can click here to accelerate through or go back to see when you missed. Then here we have another fat footer. There's a list of the items in the gallery, some recent updates which are actually from their blog post, and a newsletter sign-up. Here at the top you can see there's a link to a portfolio, the About Us page, the links, and here is the blog. And then there are testimonials. So they have a blog, but it is not the foremost purpose of this site. If we click here on testimonials, you'll see another custom content type. In this case we don't have a title, we have the content and a little tagline. And that's all there is. So this is an archive page similar to the blog post archive page. It's just showing something else. We have a sidebar, like on the blog, and then a normal small footer. Let's take a look at another example. This is a news site. This is a little closer to a blog in that it has dated content. There are 5 stories here on the page. Every day they have 5 new stories. And there's an archive just like with a blog. But these stories have a lot more information and flexibility than a normal blog post. Let's take a look here. This is what's called a custom content type, and you can see we have news over here, and here's a list of the news items. Some of them are scheduled for tomorrow's posting, but let's take a look at one that's already published. Here's our title, here's our text. We have a publish box, which shows whether it's published or not, whether it's visibly public or not, how many revisions there are, when it was published, etc. Here are the tags. Remember the tag cloud we showed on the other blog? That's how these work. Here's a layout box, which shows how you can have a full width page or sidebar on the left, to the right, etc. Here on the left we have an excerpt box. This is like a summary of the post, and it can be used in different places depending on what theme you're using. Here's a box to help you decide whether or not you want comments on this post. And here are a list of the comments that are on this post. The author of the post, And then this news information box is one of the things that sets it apart from a normal blog post. We have a country, a region, a shorter version of the story, a link title, a link URL, what order number this is. Actualities are audio bits, so this one doesn't actually have any, but it could have an audio bit associated with it, and then an indication of whether or not it's been emailed to someone. These are calls to action. They're just text boxes, and they can type anything they want in there. And then we can indicate whether or not this is a very special story, covering something large and impressive. Let's go back up to the sidebar in the admin area here. Here we have what's called a featured image. This is an image attached to this story. How it gets used on the front end is entirely up to the theme developer. It might not get used at all, but it might feature prominently. And here you can see we can have another one. It's possible to associate this post with another one in this site. That's not part of WordPress out of the box. That was added to this site. Let's move on to another kind of site. This site sells soup. Here you can see all the kinds of soup. You can choose how many, whether you want it delivered or in-store pickup, and what size. And they have a whole bunch of them. If we look at the dashboard, you can see we have a custom content type called soups, but we're also running some e-commerce software called Cart66. There are a great many e-commerce plugins for WordPress, and they have varying feature sets, so you should pick the one that works for you. This one simply allows me to attach a product to one of the soups. It's a fairly simple e-commerce platform. It allows me to create a product name, number, price, description, etc. I can sell digital products, and then over in the settings I can choose how I want people to pay, whether it's through PayPal or Stripe or with a credit card or whatever. As you can see, WordPress can be a great many things to a great many people. Anytime you find yourself asking the question, can WordPress do this thing? The answer is probably yes. It may not be the right tool, but it can do just about anything.